in this current era, we must rely so heavily on information technology and the appropriateness of our communication systems. And so you've touched on a very real aspect of keeping this process alive. I think we've reached a point in our program where we've had a lot of silence. I believe that I note online are a number of individuals whom should be recognized, and I am not very familiar with the backgrounds of each individual, but I know that I have met a number of you online. I must recall, Ambassador Diane Connolly. When you listen to her presentations and the pertinence of the advice and the depth of the presentations that she is doing, she is worth being known. In addition to, I note a very attentive, Alan Sanders there, and Esther, and may have lost Bob Artist, who is indeed one of the country directors in the USA. In addition to that, there is quietly in the background Dr. TC, as she's logged on today, whom we all need to get to know. But what I would like to happen at this time is for open discussion. And you would notice that we have a few themes for 2021. And among these themes include the Executive Certificate of Education, that we want to do a sort of a bi-monthly presentation on that. Then we have the High Level Political Forum at the UN in July 2021. Many of you may need an invitation. However, I'm sure Ada can take care of that. These are some very critical and important processes to be participating in. Then we're looking at the legacy lectures and partnership event in August 21, and in November, the International Education Week. So these are some future, but very close, needs planning now. So I would just open the floor and ask each of you to intervene as you think you would like to. Please, the floor is open. Well, then the silence does not mean you do not want to participate. So then may I ask Dr. Ada, who is directing us, to call on the individuals. Angelique Monet, I haven't heard from you. I haven't heard from the silent voices. This is a participatory process. Do not be abashed about coming in. Muriel, are you there? Please give us your voice in this process, please.
Well, I will make this sweet and brief. Dr. Ada and knows that I always support her. You haven't seen me a lot this year with Dr. Ada. However, she's included in all my partnerships. I'm in the arts and entertainment and world peace sector. So as a matter of fact, our campaigns are working. I met you, Your Excellency, with the Smartphone Youth Film Festival this summer. So I spoke to Dr. Ada earlier in the year about the launch of smartphone cinemas, and I'm quite impressed that many of the groups that she works with are using smartphones to tell their stories. So basically, in a nutshell, I have been with Dr. Ada from the very beginning for a while now, in the Hugs for Peace campaign. I've seen her work, I've seen her hard work, I've seen her grow to the point of the 501c3. She's also connected me again to the Honorable Stan, who's known me since I was a child, growing up in South Carolina with my grandfather. So I just feel like a family here. So I'm always here to offer support for Dr. Ada, and most important, she's included in my global platforms and what we're doing. My organization is New Generation in Action, AFI World Peace Initiative. And I'm also on her board since the very beginning. And we're basically doing as much as possible. Dr. Ada leads in education, and she's just one of the individuals who never stops. Every week I'm seeing her do something, and no matter what, she's going to see it through. And that's why I'm supporting her, even though sometimes, again, you don't necessarily see me at her events that are virtual. I'm always with her.
Thank you, Princess.
Thank
Very
you.
nice to see you. I'm
Thank
in
you,
London, by the
Princess.
way. I'm in London these days. So
Oh, great.
yeah, I wanted to tell you. So that's why you haven't seen me in Philadelphia, but I'll be coming home depending on COVID soon.
Okay. God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I think I believe Professor Sanders
Yeah.
unmuted to say something.
Dr. Sanders.
Yeah, hi. Thank you, Ambassador. Thank you, Dr. Ada. We've been working together for a long time from the beginning of the UNESCO clubs. I've always been impressed with Dr. Ada's work at the UN. We worked together on the Conference of NGOs on HIV/AIDS. She was on my executive committee, and she's been able to develop the program quite impressively. And I can help with different educational programs. More recently, I've been working with a group, International Association for Youth and Students for Peace in Ghana. I've done quite a few educational programs for them. And I'm starting to use some of the courses that I taught at William Patterson University, starting to teach some of those online. So Dr. Ada, we can open those up for some of your students and teachers and move forward from there. Also, my wife recently finished a book on the Civil War, and the title of that is Spill the Scarlet Rain, a Civil War novel. And I'll put it in the chat in a moment. It's a book on Amazon, and it deals with the original sin of slavery that many educators talk about, and it's especially pertinent for Stan and all of you as a material that can look at what happened during the Civil War, what's still going on today with the intense situations, and is something that we can use as a text for teaching the broader level of consciousness that we need to get to. I'll leave it off there, but I'll be more involved. I've been down in North Carolina for the last couple of years, helping take care of June's father, but he passed away recently. So I have a little bit more time now for educational programs. Anyway, thank you all for your efforts, and God bless you.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. I believe that your contribution is well noted. Is there anyone else who would like to speak at this time?
Hi, this is Dr. Martin. Can you hear me?
Yes, indeed. Please, you've got the floor.
How are you? So I was brought on this year as board chair, and I was brought on mainly because of my financial background. I've worked with several institutions. I'm from New York, and one of the oldest banks, Manufacturers and Traders, which is going on 170 years old. And I dealt with fraud and the finances that comes into the branch. So I did audits for the Lower Hudson Valley of New York. And basically doing that, which also matches up with my educational piece with business. So I was brought on to help with the financial part and showing how we can raise awareness of online training, education, especially at a time like now. And we've been able to provide the online COVID programs to show what people can attest to. And a lot of individuals I've come across are unaware of these things. And it's bringing attention to them, and they're happy. They're just really excited to link up with an organization that's doing something so that they can learn different things. So the financial piece is helpful because I am currently working with a organization that if we can move up the level in having people sign in and they themselves can be trained on different aspects, whether financial stability or even medical, so that they themselves can sustain their home front. So those are the things that I've been doing and working on. So at this time, I turn it back into the hands of the moderator.
For your intervention. I believe that your resume of activities speaks loudly, and I know that your contribution is well recognized, and we look forward to deepening our activities. Going forward, I believe that it would be useful to hear from anyone who wishes to speak now, because we need to hear from you. Is Esther, did you have anything to say this morning?
Unmute yourself.
Esther, you can unmute yourself and speak. We would listen. Very nice.
I guess you put me on the spot. Well, I've known Dr. Ada for a while, and I'm actually an educator with the New York City Board of Education. And the first time I came to Dr. Ada's program, she had asked me to bring my students. And for the peace agenda. And so I brought a student. They were excited. They participated very well. I was really proud of them. And consequently, I've already invited a friend teacher of mine to participate in these programs, because I think it gives exposure to the students. Sometimes we're cooked up in the classroom and following the curriculum step to step without envisioning what's out there. And I think that it's time for the youths to get more involved. And it's exciting to speak to my fellow teachers and the students, although I'm no longer in the classroom, but it's still something that I'm very involved with, and I would like to continue getting the students involved. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Your input and your commitment is definitely well recognized. The silence of Dr. Diane Connolly is not allowed.
I was going next. I am not going to be silent. Thank you so much, Your Excellency Dennis, for your kind words, for your support. Just amazing. Dr. Ada, thank you for inviting me, and at the recommendation of His Excellency Dr. Devon Bannister, to come and be a part of the wonderful work that you're doing as your Global Vice President for Leadership and Youth Education. So this year has been, I was going to say a wild ride, but okay. I would say has been a great opportunity to really bring my gifts, my talents, what I do well. I learn about leadership a lot. And so from my point of view, sometimes I also have to, consider that not everybody's at the same level. But I have had an amazing opportunity this year to be able to present at the Day of the African Child, the International Youth Day, which then led to the launch of Youth Gather Global. And also to be able to talk about that and to participate at the International Day of the Girl Child. And I think for me, the most valuable thing has been the collaboration that we get to have amongst us. And just this week, His Excellency Dr. Osita called me up and with less than 24 hours notice, had to present at the NIDO annual meeting that they had on Thursday. So it has been an amazing time, and just to be able to come in and bring a different point of view on what we're seeing in leadership or the lack thereof. Also knowing that whenever there is a lack, the most important question we can ask ourselves is, how are you using your brands of faith to provide and to become solutions to the things that we're complaining about? If you complain, you remain. But if you then look and really consider, what can I bring in my brand of faith? And we're not just talking about religion. Everybody has got a brand, if you like, and whatever it is that is passionate to you, that is your brand. And so the global message is, let us bring whatever are your brands of faith, and let us use them to become and to provide solutions to the things that we are complaining about. We don't lack for any good thing. We are amazingly blessed and amazingly talented. And so my point of view is that whatever we need, we have got the solutions within us. We just have to look at it and say, okay, what do I bring to the table? And how can I then add value? How can I collaborate? And how can I be able to be a blessing to the work that is being done right now? And so I am just abundantly blessed and really look forward to this amazing journey and working with each one of you. I'm so happy to hear about the technology part of it. I think that something that we're learning is to, at least in leadership, is that we need to begin to engage our youth, because they know how to do this better than we do. And many times the best question is, what am I missing? Because millennials and Generation Z can do this thing so much better than we can. And so I am so glad to hear about that, and looking forward to how that is going to look. That is also going to be able to help us to deliver depending on what events we are working on. So being able to adapt the technology to the needs that we have at the moment. Was that enough, Your Excellency Dennis? You're on mute, sir.
I must unmute yourself.
I think it was very nourishing. Let me thank you for your intervention and the manner in which you have contributed to the conferences that we've had. Like all others, you've been very much, on cutting edge. I believe the question of youth involvement, is so critical. We must have intergenerational dialogue. We cannot be talking among ourselves. This is about passing it on. And so is Muriel online? Have we heard from everyone? It does not seem so.
Yes, sir, I'm online.
Well, let us hear from you, because you know your silence is very obvious.
So sorry. I will, so sorry, I will call my daughter will help me with translation. I speak French and I want to say something. She will help me.
But you sound very good in English, but go ahead with the translation.
Yes. Mon nom est Mireille Basirois.
Hello, my
Greetings.
She's speaking from Belgium. Network.
We have a delay.
Yeah, network. Okay, maybe someone, I think Tony is on mute. Maybe he wants to say something so that she can, hello, Mirabel.
We are not hearing her.
Yeah, network. Hello, Mirabel. Yeah, let's continue. If she comes up again, we'll bring her up.
I believe at this time we need to recognize that there are.
Can you hear?
Yeah.
Go on.
Oh, she's out.
She's gone now. Okay, that's very significant here. She's back.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we are back. Sorry.
Go ahead. You sound very good right now.
Okay. Yes. So she was saying that she's a gospel artist. She has an orphanage. And
maintenant, donc ça fait 20 ans que je chante.
It's been 20 years that she's singing.
Et j'ai l'orphelinat Vase d'honneur depuis 13 ans maintenant.
And I have the orphanage Vase d'honneur since 13 years now.
Et maintenant, ce que je fais avec la jeunesse ici.
And now what I'm doing with the youth here in Belgium.
Je m'occupe des jeunes qui viennent de commencer leur ministère, à les intégrer, les équiper pour qu'ils puissent faire mieux dans l'église.
I am helping the youth who are starting their ministries to serve the Lord in the right way.
Les équiper.
And I am helping to equip them.
Donner des formations qu'il leur faut pour qu'ils puissent être mieux que ce que nous avons été.
And give them formation to be better than we have been.
Parce que nous savons que maintenant, la jeunesse a cette chance d'aller très vite.
Because we have the chance that the youth are going very, very fast.
Et ils ont vraiment besoin de nous, avec notre expérience, pour les faire mieux et éviter beaucoup de bêtises.
And they really need us to do better, to prevent, to do things in a bad way.
Les conseiller.
To counsel them.
Les former.
To form them,
les équiper au fait pour qu'ils fassent mieux.
And to equip them so that they can do better.
Ça, c'est ce que je fais ici en Belgique.
That's what I do here in Belgium.
En Afrique, donc au Kenya, en Tanzanie et au Congo.
In Africa, in Congo, Tanzania and Kenya,
j'ai les orphelinats que je tiens.
I have orphanages.
Et toujours le même travail avec la jeunesse dans les églises me suit chaque fois que je me déplace.
And I'm also doing the same work with the youth in every churches I go. To help the youth with their ministries.
Donc, c'est ça que je fais pour le moment. Merci à vous tous de nous donner cette chance.
So that's what I'm doing actually for the moment. Thank you. Thank to all of you for the chance that you are giving me.
Je suis vraiment contente de participer à cette réunion.
I am happy to be part of this meeting.
Et j'apprends à voir les visages. J'ai vu Dr. Ada aujourd'hui.
And I'm
happy.
I'm happy to have encountered you. I saw Dr. Ada today.
I'm so happy for that. Thank you so much. Pour vous tous.
Thank you, all of you.
For your participation and inclusionary process. When you speak about orphanage, you speak about a very critical aspect of the future and also meeting a need. This is the kind of topic that we talked about when we talked about the unmet needs and the rural and those who have left behind. So again, your contribution is well noted. At this point, I believe that we are at the point in the agenda where we need to recognize who is among us.
Mhm.
And if we can
Yeah,
do
I think before that, Your Excellency, Tony want to say something. I've been on mute.
Oh, and I'm not.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, everyone, again. Standing on existing protocol, His Excellency, thank you for another opportunity. I actually came in brutally, and I did not properly introduce myself, and also to let others know what my capacity is. At least that will help us a lot to know that when you are calling on me for any work concerning the organization, you know what I can do. I have known Dr. Ada for getting to 10 years now, since 2010. So it's been a very long time. And we've run so many programs online and physically here. I major in ICT, Information and Communication Technology.
I have a network problem. Hello?
Yes, yes.
No,
Okay.
Tony is are you okay, Tony?
I'm right here, I'm sorry.
No, Tony is still talking, but at least network is delaying him.
Are you hearing me now?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay, so I said I major in ICT, and I've known Dr. Ada for a couple of years, since 2010, and we've done a lot of programs online, physically in Nigeria here, and it's been awesome working with her. I major in Information and Communication Technology. I have a very vast experience in ICT. I have a company that I run, and I got into website designing, networking, cybersecurity, application building, web development, name it. Since 2008, I have been into ICT. So when we started even far from the UNESCO Center for Global Education, the first center for SDG, we started education solution in Nigeria back then, if Dr. Ada can remember, in some secondary schools in Enugu. So we have launched so many initiatives concerning education, but thank God here we are, you know, at the right point. So I want to give my best in seeing that youths are, you know, are given the proper information technology awareness at the early stage of their secondary school. In Nigeria here, we use secondary school, higher college, or thereabout. There is this gap between, after your secondary school in Nigeria, you have to write a JAM, and then you pass JAM, you go into the tertiary university. That's a gap of 1 year. And in that gap, so many lost out of school, so many lost out of what to do. Our curriculum here in Nigeria, we have 12 or 14 subjects. So sometimes, even me, I didn't even know what I really want to do until I found myself, you know, in computer, in ICT and information technology. So that had been my passion. In my department, in my company, I have internships for young people. I've said it in a program here before that I don't sustain it to a level, but I know the enthusiastic I do get from these young people. So many of them still rely on me up to today that I've given them little information that changed their mindset from their whole life. So I will give my best to the UNESCO Center, Center for SDG Global Education. And, the most happy news I have heard from the organization is the online education. The online education is just like taking the classroom from the local place to a place where everybody can have access to it in the whole world. That's just the simple meaning of online education. Taking classroom from the local base to a platform or a place where it's accessible to everybody in the whole world. And if we can achieve that goal, I would want to be a part of it. I would want to be put to that record that I made it happen. So that is it. Prospect about the online education is very, very big. If it was a business venture, I could have said COVID has found us a problem that we provide solution to and we all be billionaires. But be it as it may, it's still very okay that the dimension of the world has changed. So let us be at the forefront, provide this education to the people at their various places at home. That will impact a lot in the world. Thank you so much for the little time, and we continue.
I really thank you for at least expanding on the subject of connectivity and the information technology infrastructure, which is needed in especially the developing countries in sub-Saharan Africa, and I dare say in the islands of the Caribbean and the small island developing states. This is a critical issue. Those of us here online who we have the luxury of interacting with each other in very unrestricted ways, but there are children who do not have this opportunity and they're left out. Electricity is still a problem in many of the developing countries. Could you imagine that? So then how can we rest when there are many who are not reached? So I thank you. Your profession at this time is so critical to the future. Again, Ada, did you want to say something before we move forward?
Yes. I want to say something, and Dr. Diola from Nigeria just he has been on the attendees. I just saw him just be promoted so that we can see him. Yes, I just wanted to refer to what Muriel said regarding the orphanages. In fact, if not for this COVID, myself and Dr. Banisa had planned to meet with you when you are team we are supposed to be in Atlanta, Georgia last 2 weeks. Because of what you are doing with orphanage. You know, the SDG 2030 agenda is talking about leave no one behind. But we are looking at a lot of people are being left behind. And one part on this SDG and the decade of action, and one very pertinent one there is the orphanages. Because when Dr. Banisa mentioned the work we are doing in orphanages, I think very well that this organization can establish the SDG club in orphanages and begin to utilize the Ambassador Antoine's book to educate them about SDG, get them on board. So myself and you and Dr. Banista will have a meeting to see how we can enact that action and begin to introduce SDG Club into them. We're also introducing SDG Club into schools, primary schools, nursery and primary schools in Africa. And they are beginning to, even the teachers there, when you mention SDG, they will keep on asking, you have to explain what is SDG, what is SDG. So our organization is committed into doing that. And then also, just as we committed to indigenous people, the orphanages are also my passion, that they need to be exposed. And then those of them who are into school will also begin to explore their inherent talents and skills. You know, you were to join us on Youth Gather on that day we launched, but we're sorry we had that morning you lost a relative, and we felt
Yes.
that apology to you on that. So now everything will be in place. We have to meet to restructure this program and see how we can get the orphanages, the children in orphanages on board through the SDG Club. So that's all the one. Then just before Ambassador, before you mention the list, I want to acknowledge that most importantly is our online executive programs. You know, we really want to go into this online institute very, very passionately. And that is why Tony and I has moved to get this Microsoft. And the first time we are trying to use it was today, and it's still, we've not perfected it. So we'll still go back to the learning board to address that too. So that when we perfect it, we see how we can now reposition our online training. Even with the CITADA, with Youth Gather, and all those things has to be online. So we are still under the SAICA International University for certificates and the executive on this executive education program. But we need the idea and how we can get the intent from Board of Education so that we can be able to administer these certificates. And it also helps us to get into Board of Education to work on a global teachers classroom for the teachers and Board of Education. So, because we are 501c, any state that we can get the license, we'll be able to start doing that for the teachers and the schools in that state. Even the model UN, we are still, we are going that through the online. The model UN also is online. Because of this COVID, we are establishing everything online. So we need expertise to fine tune all these things. And then again, need not only expertise, we need guideline and support. And I thank God, Ambassador is still with our support, and he will continue to support us in Jesus' name. So Ambassador, this is just what I want to chip in to see how we can get to
Thank you, Ada. Generally, when I speak to audience that's before me, I say it's like preaching to converts. Most of the time we hear each other and we're together because we are of like-mindedness. And so what has to happen is how we pass it on, how we reach beyond us. And this is very critical. There is a long list of us in this engagement, and I am not sure if it can be put to the screen, but it is useful that we identify the role that each person who is associated with this initiative has been accorded, because we must recognize that there is portfolio to be embraced. And if you are committed to this process, your name has been identified with some specific portfolios. And I do hope that at this time, you would allow us to put your name in the record as being associated in the manner in which we have listed you. Can we bring that list up to the screen at this time? Share this list on the screen.
Yeah, I'm trying to. Tony, can you give me sharing power so I can share it?
If not,
yes,
I can
give you access to share.
Please do.
Okay.
Go ahead. You can share.
So there we have it. And we can recognize that the Honorable Stan Strouder is identified as the president and CEO of the process. Then we have Dr. Theresa Martin, the chair of the board. We have here Moses Mikaisa. You know, that's where they took my African tongue. And but I do hope that he understands that I'm trying to pronounce his last name, the vice president. Then we have Professor Alan Sanders as an advisor, and Bob Artis, who was on earlier and had to leave as a director for the country, USA country director. We also have the Reverend Devon Bannister, whom we heard from. He is a connector. He's indeed an advisor on partnerships and certificate education. We have Dr. Marielle Bashira, who is on the line, and we've heard from her from, she is in Belgium. And that's where we do hope that we can relate to her work in orphanages. We have Cherry Ba, that is public relation and logistics. And we have Forward Ali Lanka, who is the external affairs, and Ambassador Diane Cannoli, whom you heard from, Global Vice President and Leadership Education. Very, very critical part of this because we need youth leadership. And we also have Dr. Esther Okoye, and Director of Global Classrooms. We have Shah David, Advisor for Gender Education, Ambassador Daboya Dijaso, Director for Finance, and Lisa Scott, Director of Programs. And we have Nadine Grisby, Director. We have HRH, Prince Angelique Monet, and Director for Peace Education, Dr. Rosemary Nusso, Director for Global Classroom. We have Dr. Oladele Odiola, Director, and we have Chibo Unka, Director. Please forgive me for the mispronunciations. I am learning to speak my African tongue.
Ambassador, don't worry yourself.
Don't worry yourself.
Don't worry yourself. The feeling is mutual. I've been there.
Israel Adeyoju, Director for Youth and Students, and Anthony Unwo, Director for Media and ICT. We've heard from him so many times this morning. I do believe it is time that we resolve that these individuals who have committed not only their names, but their activities to be part of and considered to be members with the list of portfolio. And at this time, I would like to move that we accept this list as read, not the pronunciation, but the meaning of the names of the persons. And for that matter, I would like to get a seconder for this resolution.
I second.
Stan Strouder has seconded the resolution. And now we are going to close. And as we close, I'm going to be very limited in my remarks. I have encountered the word holism. And the word holism, it's close to holistic. Now, the idea that various systems, such as physical, biological, social, should be viewed as a whole, not merely as collective parts. The term holism, this term was coined in 1926, but it seemed to be so pertinent today. Now, holism, the theory that parts of a whole are innately interconnected, such that they cannot exist independently. Now, they cannot be understood without reference to the whole. Holism is often applied in mental state, language, ecology, and it is the opposite of autonomism. So today, I want us to talk about education must be specifically focused on teaching knowledge, models, methods, and connected within formal and non-formal education systems. We have to promote the growing recognition and use of culture in education and methods that can be responsive to the loss of knowledge through the process of colonialism and generalization and modernity. Remember, we talk a lot about indigenous, and we try to identify indigenous as if it's American Indian or the Amerindians. But we, look at us, we are indigenous people. But over a period of time, we've been colonized and modernized, and so we're losing the original nature of our cultural values. So, realism. Let us reclaim and revalue our traditions. And to do so, improve the educational success of all students, thus ensuring the survival of our communities. And what happens locally is about what's going on globally. So in this sense, we would reach the world community. The Center for SDGs Global Education, USA, will contribute to the sustainable growth and development, leaving no one behind. I really thank you. I had the occasion to be inspired to write this. Get on board, children of the world. And today I was surprised that this book has been embraced by the United Nations, and it is in about 4 languages: French, Spanish, English, Korean, and the Chinese have asked me to reproduce it. I am very thrilled. I hesitate to talk about it, but I am pleased with the acceptance of this book for children. And I'm doing all I can to get it in the hands of children that explains that the SDGs is not a UN matter anymore. It is a community matter. It's an individual matter. We have to embrace it. We have to own it. We have to take ownership of it, and we have to localize it. I want to thank you for the opportunity to interact with you, and I do not wish to monopolize more of your time. I turn this meeting over to our director, Ada, should she want to have anything else to say. I thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Your Excellency. I must acknowledge all of you for your support and time. And I am stressing that I am not alone on this event. And incidentally, we are having Dr. Moses Mukwiza of Atlanta just finished his important meeting. Tony, can you admit him? He's on attendee. And
I've promoted him.
No, he just came in. Is there Dr. Moses? Okay. So he's not yet promoted. He's still on attendee. Dr. Moses Mukwiza.
Yeah.
So now we've had all the encouraging words and support from each and every one of us, and I'm excited that we have one common language. We all agreed to come together. I'm happy to see my dear friend, since she went to Europe, England, we've been talking on phone. Royal Highness Princess. You know, so you need to come back. You need to come back to America. We are missing you here. Thank you for your continued support. One important thing is that on Friday, this coming Friday, we have the International Education Week starts from 16th November to 20th. And on 20th, we're having an education training section. And I will send the flyer to all of you to have created Eventbrite and sending the information for people to show their interest and participate. So we have to do what we've got to do, but most importantly that from January, we have to really commit to online and virtual education and training for certificate programs, including all our partnership, especially the CITADA, the university in Nigeria. They have been waiting on us because the initiative is solely the initiative for Center for SDG Global Education. So they rely everything on us to get the movement on and unstoppable. So I'm really much glad to thank all of you. And then as we have mentioned, we have a lot to fine tune. We need to fine tune the Microsoft team to be able to reposition our online program very well. We need to see how we can build the curriculum. I'm working on a lot of curriculum, but not yet fine-tuned, not yet concluded. And then we need also to identify our focus and target groups. We are looking at social affective programs for schools and orphanages like the SDG Club and all the rest of them. So, but I don't want to waste much of your time, but I must thank Ambassador Antime for his continued support. You know, it's the one thing for you to have intelligence, have knowledge, have an idea, but when you don't have anyone, someone to move you and support you, then that idea will just be swimming in the ocean without gathering anything. So I'm most thankful to God for letting him mentor me and guide me. And it's very, very encouraging. In fact, most of the time when I want to do something, I say, hey, will Ambassador support me? And how will Ambassador feel if I'm doing it right or right? So it gives me a mathematics to always sure that I put myself on the standard that I will not let him down. So being his position diplomatically and globally. So it's has been a little to the left and a little to the right. And I've continued to enjoy his continued support. In fact, when I told him about bringing a strength, you know, into the, then he was in India and in China, he asked me to get to Honorable Stan, tell him I say he should do it. So I didn't wait any time. And when I told Stan, in fact, Stan has to drive all the way from Philadelphia to New York that day, you know. So I don't know what to say again. And he's so interested that even Dr. Bannister, it's on my online search that I got to know Dr. Bannister. And incidentally, we got to know each other and we begin to work together. And he has been so supportive. Dr. Moses, he brought it. Dr. Diane, he brought them. Dr. TC, he brought in. And Mirara, he brought them into the organization. And other people that are not here. So, and he told them that these are expertise that you need, Dr. Ada. You need them to get your organization to where you are. And it has been so interesting to meet with them, you know, and what they do. Not outside the ministry, where some of them are occupied in the ministry, but also in their other social activities like non-profit organizations. So I've been able to know about Mirel all the way from Belgium, you know, and so forth and so on. And I want to thank my sister Esther. You know, at times she will say, Dr. Ada, you are, what does she even say? Chairman Konukos. I say, yes, I've Konukod you into this program. So she always supportive and with her family, you know, I'm sure if you open the video, you see all of them in the family sitting on this video, you know, listening, you know. So it's been so much encouraging that when I see her potentials as a teacher in United States for more than 10, 20 years, I say, my dear, your expertise are needed for community classrooms. And she gave me her one. That's how we enacted action of Global Teachers Classroom to begin to develop resources, which we are working on. Resources. In fact, we are waiting for her to retire so that we'll begin to go to villages in Africa. And that time, orphanages, schools in local communities will be able to be empowered on the real education. You know, putting excitement into schools, into education that can excite people in communities to enjoy coming to school. You know, so this is one of the challenges that we are having. So I thank her for her time. I thank her for the support of her family as well. So I don't want to say much to but Diane. She has been a resource, both from what we are doing on Youth Gather Global and what she has promised to do in this organization. She has been a resource to me and her strength, especially with her global knowledge, with working with Maxwell. Is it Maxwell? What? With her job as executive director of Maxwell.
John Maxwell.
John Maxwell. You know, so she brings such expertise into what I share with her and how we can introduce the leadership, and that is really strengthening us with the youth program, Youth Gather Global, that we are packaging. So it's a very big strength. And Dr. T.C. Martins, I don't know how to thank you, because this is something she has not been into the civil nonprofit world as somebody in the financial world. But when Dr. Bannister led me to her, and I shared my passion, she didn't sleep over it. She gave her word that she can give all her support. And we have trying to do things in one way or the other to package some of these things. And of course, Anthony has been a boy that if I tell you that myself and Anthony have not seen face to face, you don't believe it. But we have been so occupied as if we see every day for the past 10 years. We have never met face to face, so it's been such a wonderful cooperation and support, especially in times of media. You see, when we are fiddling with Micro, I was shouting instead, Tony, 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 Tony. And he does everything to strengthen everything. So with his expertise, in fact, he was the one that said the virtual program, online program is something we can delve into. And he went ahead to get a sponsorship of the Microsoft. So everything about us and Micro have been approved. It's just because we were trying. I was trying to get to understand it. I tried to start create another one because I was understanding the one he started. That was why we couldn't use the Micro, not knowing that one has limited. If we had used the one, if I understood the one he started, it's free because they are major sponsors, and we don't need to pay anything for Microsoft. Unlike this one we got to, and they decided to tell us to pay, that we didn't pay for the sufficient hours. So I don't want to say more. And Dr. Adiola, I don't know whether he's still here all the way from Federal University of Technology, Akure, Nigeria. He has been a professor of computer science. In one of his trips to America, I met him and I shared with him about my organization, and he gave in his support. He gave his word that he wants to support. So his professor as a computer science lecturer is where we are going to tap in as soon as this meeting is over to fine tune. So himself and Tony will guide this organization in our virtual programs to see how we can do. So I want to thank all of you. And Alan Sanders has been right from the time he was the chair of NGO committee on HIV. He has encouraged my commitment to the UN as a member of the committee, brought me in as a member of the executive of the NGO committee on HIV/AIDS, and we had a good relation with UNAIDS, the UN Special Advisor on Children, Violence Against Children, and of most of the missions. So he picked me, and then we got to know each other and became our strength. So the first time we started this, I started this issue about education solution, was him that repackaged it. And then we did the first training in April 2016 with teachers from Nigeria. So we have been, I don't want to say much to everybody, but all of you have been my friend. That is why I say, come and let's work together. And I know that with Honorable Stan as leadership, as the president and the CEO, and with Dr. TC as the chair of the board, with, of course, Ambassador Antai will not leave us. He's continued to be our father and a mentor and a guidance. So all those ones. And all of you will be able to reposition this organization. One most important thing is to be able, this organization to be able to fund itself. It has been tasking, it has been tasking. No salaries because of the lack of fund. We can't get staff to help. In most of it, everything relies on my head. And this is becoming too, especially where we have expanded to a bigger partnership like CITADA, Youth Together, get on board for a third SDS with a European nation. So it's expanded, and now we have to bring in the orphanage club and then all those. So we need staff who can help to do some of these things now. Now, as the even to do all the report for this year report, it's even the tax a big project for me. One is not getting younger. So we will need to see how we can open our financial doors to this organization. That is very, very important for us. As well as this initiative can be well repositioned. My dream is that this organization will grow like Ford Foundation, African American Institute, all these big organizations that we do. They started like us. So when we have that aspiration and ambition, we are not mistaken. But what we need to do is putting all of us, all our expertise, our ideas, our connection to be able to do that. And Honorable Stan was mentioning the Congresswoman, which I know that if we reached out to her, she was going to come in and give us the support, her continued support, just as Ambassador Antoine is doing for us. So I want to appreciate all of you, and I don't have any word to thank you, but I know the God I serve will continue to replenish you and bless your effort and give us continued sustenance to see this vision of. I always tell people that non-profit, you are just managing it, is not your own. It's the property of United States government. And whatever we are doing is to encourage the work of the government in outreach, in trying to reach, try to get their mission out through the organization. So whatever we are doing in this organization is not just about Dr. Ada, but about the government who has approved us and the agenda of the government to reach internationally. And that is why we are looking at global classrooms. We are still going on. We have submitted a proposal to the Nigerian mission to bring us into partnership with the UN Day for Education, which is every January 24. If not for this COVID, we would have gotten our ECOSOC status. We are still under the US Federation of UNESCO Clubs membership. So we have some of these strengths that can help us to look out for funding, support, and all those things that we can address in line with our expanding programs and projects, so that we can be able to make our dreamed contribution through this organization. I thank you, everyone. And I don't know if Dr. Adiola, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Thank you very much.
Okay. Do you have anything to share before? And then Dr. Moses is just coming. Are you also in? Tony, we can't hear Dr. Moses. I don't know whether he's still on attendee. Yeah, Dr. Adiola, if you
trying to promote him from attendees, but it's not working. I think he has a challenge on his end, but Adiola is here.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you very much. This is a very, very good initiative from you guys, particularly Dr. Ada. She has been working very hard on this project. And I believe, like the other speaker has rightly said, this COVID-19 is more or less a gift to humanity, to open our eyes to another way of even reaching people in any remote area of the world. For example, I was driving during this time. I have to park, and I'm getting all this report from you, all this, and attending the meeting on emotion. And the education like that, if you want to reach any part of the world, the local area, especially in Africa, we want to reach people, we want to give them the benefit of having a taste of education. Is the online initiative is very well placed to reach these people. And I believe if all of us work very hard, we will achieve the objective and goal of this organization. I'm very pleased, I'm very happy to be part of this initiative. And I promise that I will do all I could to give you utmost and all the support I have in this area. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
To speak? If not, I wish to thank each and every one of you for your attentive presence, though virtually. I thank you for realizing that your contribution is enabling not just your cause, but others. Dr. Ada and each of you on this line, thank you for participating. Until next time.
Thank you. You can unmute yourself and let's chat, let's talk, let's greet each other. Thank you, Dr. Honorable Stan. I think I'll have a meeting with you and Dr. TC. Probably let me know whether we can do it Sunday or Monday, anytime next week.
Okay, please
Yes.
feel free to
I'll
call.
let you know, you and Dr. Teresa, are you still there?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, yeah, so we'll have to do that meeting.
I think it's also useful to ask whether anyone has any item they wish to share in the broader networks.
Well, I definitely know I want to
enable each other, because it is not just about us. We are broadcasting a very critical body of knowledge that needs to leave us. We are converts. We are disciples of SOT. So let us send our messages out. So if you have messages to send out, send it through this process beyond the boundaries that we are reaching. That's my thought.
Yeah, I'll set the program for Friday to help you share your network to get people to sign up for the education program. I'll share it today as soon as we get that.
also, are we able to get sent pretty much a directory of what you just let us look at and people's contact information?
Yes. We'll have
so that we can, I would love to connect with Ambassador, I'm not going to pronounce the name, but I'll spell it, Dadoya, the Director of Finance.
You want, okay, yes.
Saying there's different people. I would definitely love to be able to connect with each person to see everyone's place, but that would be great.
Okay, that's fine.
Dr. Ada, could I make a suggestion? Because Dr. Martin just made it clear. The document that you have with the names of the officers and directors, please send that out to everybody. Or if you have, I haven't seen it. So just send that to everybody that's attending this meeting. So that especially from the chairman, the president, the treasurer, secretary, we need to probably, with you, of course, and Ambassador Antoine, probably have an executive meeting putting together the rest of the substantive parts of the organization and to share with you the strategy so we can have that done. As we
Exactly.
go
Good
forward,
idea.
okay?
Or at least seeing the breakdown, what the breakdown is.
Yes.
So everyone understands what area categories they fall under.
Yes,
Exactly.
I've just sent it out.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
So I believe that's the same one. Will it have everyone's email or something?
Yeah, the email I sent has email of everyone that's on this list. The email I used to send out everything to people. So but I will still send a list with their emails later.
Okay.
Okay. It seems like end of a very good thing. And till the other meeting announced, and you will get an announcement through Dr. Ada. I say to each of you, have a great day. Be safe out there. Thank you.
Thank you, Ambassador. Thank you for your continued fathership, and I know you continue to be there for us.
My pleasure. Thank
God
you.
bless you.
Bye.
Goodbye, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye. everyone.
Farewell, everyone. I'll see you soon,
Bye.
Dr. Ada,
Please
okay?
come back, my dear.
And-
Come back to America. Come back to America.
Well, I want to talk to you about the next phase of initiatives that we have for you that will involve you, okay? So
Okay. All right, call me
I'm
when
gonna
you
hang
can.
up now.
All right, call me when you can.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, so I draw my knife and I cut the Zoom.
Yeah, we have to go back to that Microsoft team. I beg, you need to make out time to guide me because
Yes, it's very nice.
It's very nice. Yeah, it's very nice than this Zoom, so that we'll stop paying this heavy amount every month to Zoom.
Yes. All right. Thank you. Bye.